Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, today I want to talk about the mindset flip for fasting. There's actually a really specific thing to do before you start fasting that will make it more likely that you will succeed. Firstly, of course, we talked about preparing for a fast, and you can watch an earlier video where I mentioned how to actually prepare the body for a fast. But then you also have to make a decision to fast. And I'll liken this basically to long distance driving, okay? If you're used to, let's say you're used to driving a certain distance to a different city for some reason, maybe you're used to driving 2 hours, then the thought of driving 5 hours seems kind of far, like you might get tired or something like that. And for somebody who's used to driving 5 hours, it's not that big of a deal because they've already made up their mind that that's an okay distance and that's just what they're gonna do, right? So recently, my sister and I drove from Austin, Texas, all the way to Florida. And my sister had done multiple long distance trips, like Rhode Island to Texas, Texas to Wyoming, etc. But I hadn't done one of these driving trips. So for me, I was more used to doing like a 3-hour driving trip, right? But thinking about going all the way to Florida, I was like, man, that seems like it might be really tiring. And she's like, actually, it's not, because you've already made up your mind that you're going that far. So you actually just kind of enjoy it because you know you're going all the way to Florida. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then we were driving, and about 8 hours in or something like that, I was like, wow, this feels amazing. Like I'm just enjoying it. And she's like, yeah, it's the mindset, you know, the fact that you've made a decision to go to a certain distance makes it much more enjoyable and much more likely that you will succeed. And it's the same thing with fasting. You know, if you just wing it and you just say, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna see how far I go, then the moment that you start to experience a little bit of hunger or any kind of a little symptom or something like that, maybe you'll be like, oh, never mind, and then you'll break the fast. Well, you haven't decided beforehand how long your fast is gonna be, right? And it's not like I'm just gonna say, okay, let's just see if I make it to Florida. Well, then I haven't made the decision to go to Florida. Then 2 or 3 hours in, if I experience any kind of discomfort, I'm gonna say, you know what, never mind. Maybe I'll just stay in Dallas and then I'll come back to Austin or something like that, right? So it's the idea that we have to make a decision that makes us the most successful in terms of completing our goal. And that's, for some reason, that's something that sometimes we miss doing. And with a fast, some people sometimes experience like a little bit of a hump of hunger, like a little bit of a hump, right? And so the thing that gets you through that is the fact that you've already decided that you're gonna do a 1-day fast or 20-hour fast or 16 hours or whatever. It's the decision, and that's the mindset, right? So now if you know you're going a long distance, if you're in fasting or in driving, it's a much more enjoyable process because you know what your goal is. And so it's just like that, right? But so if for you're just used to a short distance driving, then maybe thinking about going a very long distance seems unimaginable. But when you make a decision and then you start in that direction, it's much easier to accomplish the goal, because you've made that very clear target for yourself. So just remember that the other thing to make you very successful is to prepare for the fast beforehand by getting your body to be fat adapted, and watch the earlier video regarding how to prepare for a fast or how to prepare for fasting in order to get more information on how to do that. And it's the same thing if you're going to go long distance. You got to pack up certain things in the car. You got to make sure that you will succeed and you will enjoy the process of long distance driving. So I really like this analogy for that reason, and it was very true for me. It was like, wow, I really enjoyed the drive to Florida. But it's like I made the decision. It wasn't like I was just going to turn around 2 hours in and say, never mind, right? It's like, I'm going to Florida, period. And so it's the same thing with fasting. You're just like, I'm doing 24 hours, and that's just what I'm doing. So if you experience a little bit of hunger, you drink water, you get busy, you do a little exercise, etc. You set yourself up, and then you will succeed. So that's what I want to mention this time around, just the mindset flip for fasting that is very important. And that's making sure that you make the decision beforehand of what it is that you want to accomplish and then get going with it. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the flip side. Hey, if you're liking the information on this channel, don't forget to subscribe, click the button, and share this with your friends and family. We've got lots more information coming. Thanks so much for being here.